mubashara, tupashe moja kwa moja.
Seriousness. Whatever grievances that our learners may have, there can never be justification for causing death and destroying property. Any grievances must be addressed through appropriate channels without resorting to unlawful actions or violence. This is to inform the country that all perpetrators who would have been found to be involved in such actions will be dealt with firmly and in accordance with the law. As a ministry, we have undertaken preliminary reviews of most of the cases that have occurred. From our analysis and from the reports across the country, less than 2% of the country's senior schools have been affected by this unrest, meaning that most of our schools, around 98%, remain stable and continue with their normal operations. Most of the schools that are affected are boarding senior schools, with day senior schools largely proceeding with their activities uninterrupted. We have so far received reports of unrest affecting 204 senior schools across the country, and of those 204, 59 have since returned to schools and resumed their studies, with more continuing to return. Learners in grade 1 to 9 in our institutions are proceeding with their studies with no interruption reported. As it were, therefore, our basic education system is running smoothly except for the disruption in the boarding senior schools that are mentioned. We take this early opportunity to commend the majority of our learners in schools across the country for remaining disciplined and committed to their studies. We also commend the heads of these institutions, the teachers and the parents for guiding their learners and ensuring stability and continuity in school operations. We call upon them to keep up the good work to ensure that these institutions are not affected like the others. The unrest appears to be driven by a variety of factors, including leadership challenges in institutions, learner anxiety and examination-related stress, poor school conditions, especially in boarding sections, alcohol and drug abuse, strenuous school routines, peer influence and copycat behavior, with learners demanding to be released early from school for various reasons. Heads of institutions are reminded that it is their statutory and moral responsibility and duty to ensure that any challenges in their institutions are addressed in good time and that the safety and security of our learners are guaranteed. The government is keen on addressing the matter of unrest in our schools effectively and comprehensively. This worrying pattern of unrest summons all of us to engage in collective reflection about our children and their future. It is our shared responsibility as education sector players, ranging from the government, the parents, the guardians, our leaders and community leaders, policy makers, school heads, and teachers, to ensure that our education system serves the best interests of our children. It is our duty, and I dare say a sacrosanct one, to nurture our children in the values and virtues that grow them into law-abiding and responsible citizens that will continue to contribute positively to the development of our country and not to destruction. Following due consultations within the government and other stakeholders, we wish therefore to announce the following measures going forward. To establish and address underlying causes of this perennial challenge of student unrest, we shall be forming a multi-stakeholder team to review the causes of unrest and make recommendations on strategies for stemming this challenge. The midterm break for the second term of the 2026 school year will take place as scheduled from the 24th of June 2026 to the 28th of June 2026. Parents and guardians are urged to use the break to spend time with their children and provide guidance and support for them. Any grievances or concerns should be articulated appropriately and shared with schools and other relevant authorities for action. Schools shall urgently convene consultative parents' associations meetings to review the state of affairs and learners' welfare in their respective schools. The schools shall strengthen safety measures and address any concerns and grievances that learners may have raised before the end of the half term. The schools shall also intensify guidance and counseling programs and strengthen learners' grievances handling mechanisms. County and sub-county education officers shall undertake targeted safety assessments and audits and monitor institutions that are considered to be at risk. Starting next academic year, the ministry shall rationalize the school calendar to ensure that the terms are balanced and that the second term is not as long as it's been. We shall continue to provide you with updates as we address this matter. Thank you. Asanteni sana, ni hayo tulikuwa naye kwa leo.
Midterm will start 24th June, but walking around town we see very many learners moving home. They seem to be going home, and there's a feeling out here that probably some teachers might have taken advantage of what's happening in schools to send learners away. Maybe there might not be a directive from the government to do that. Is that something that has come to your desk?
No, it hasn't. We've had situations where learners have requested that they be released for one reason or another, and the heads of institutions and the BOMs have taken the decision in their own assessment to release these students so that they avoid a situation where there'll be destruction of property or loss of lives. So in these particular instances where the heads of institutions assess the situation individually, may decide it is a good thing to release the students at that point. But the directive we are giving is that do not use what is happening as an opportunity to send students home where there is no situation or there is no unrest or there is no indication or there is no tension. So what we are trying to do is just tell all of us that we should work together to ensure that we maintain school operations and calm in our institutions. We are calling upon the teachers, upon the parents, upon the community, the leadership, everybody in the sector to ensure that we have a situation where we have calmness in schools and students are undertaking their normal programs. But where an assessment is done individually by the individual heads of institutions, they realize that something might happen. They are using their own protocols. They are allowed to make that decision and send them home. And then they would give them an opportunity to come back. Like there are situations where the students indicated that they feel that they are tired, they want to go home, and they were threatening, for example, to ban an institution. There are situations where the assessment is done and the teachers would say, let these guys go. But what has happened is they're now coming back, and in most of the schools, normalcy has resumed.
I have two questions. Number one is that the students who are already home, would they also go for break during the 24th? Because some of them are returning this week. So are they going to go back again, or that will depend on the school? And question number two, there's a feeling that we're sometimes being reactive, because remember in Russia what happened, and then we had a multi-agency team investigation. So what did we do with that? And this time round, for example, we've seen most of these issues is because of the infrastructure in the schools, the dorms and how they are built. Are we going to see demolition and rebuilding of schools in terms of now making sure that you have good windows and all those things?
Let me start with your second question. Is as I indicated, there are a variety of reasons why this unrest has happened and has been happening. And what we want to do is set up a multi-sectoral team to review the whole spectrum to find out what really needs to be done once and for all to resolve these issues, so that we avoid a situation where there is a reactivity like you mentioned. Because this is not a one solution fits all, because the reasons that lead to the students going on strike or showing unrest are various. Some it is pressure, some it's copycat, some it's peer pressure, some is exams, some is poor conditions in institutions. It is not one thing that has caused this. So that's why we are saying let's have a platform where we can receive all these issues and address specific strategies to these challenges, including the issues of infrastructure. So we are going to create that platform, that team, to collate that process so that we can have a coherent and predictable strategy that will ensure that we do not have this problem going forward. In terms of the students who have already gone home and they are coming back, those cases will be treated on a case-per-case basis by the heads of those institutions. There are students, for example, who said they are not part of this process of unrest, so they are continuing with those studies. There are others who have come back, and when they are coming back, they're being given some conditions. Some are very stringent. So there are processes that are being undertaken. But what we are saying is that with the grievances that you have, present your grievances and let them be solved amicably, let them be dealt with together with the institutions, so that you avoid a situation where you take the law into your own hands and start causing destruction or anything like that. So thank you very much.
Just one last question. Maybe second term is just 2 weeks longer than the first term.
Yes.
So how is adjusting the second term?
You see, first term is 12 weeks, second term is 14 weeks, and third term is, I think, 9 weeks. So we are now going to rationalize that and probably have 12 weeks across the board. We are working on that, but from next academic year, the terms will be rationalized as part of the reforms that we are doing to engage, to ensure that our students do not get exhausted when they are in school. That was the last question. Thank you.
Na hatimaye mtazamaji, waziri wa elimu Julius Migos Ogamba akivunja kimya chake kufuatia zaidi ya shule 71 kufungwa kufuatia hali ya mshike na pia wanafunzi kupanga kuchoma shule hizi. Basi mtazamaji, akipatiana mwelekeo kuhusiana na jinsi tunaweza kuzuia migomo hii na shule kuteketezwa, hapo akitangaza ya kwamba moja ya matatizo ambayo labda yanaathiri wanafunzi na shule hizi ni pamoja na usimamizi wa shule, usimamizi labda kutosikiza mahitaji ya wanafunzi. Hali kadhalika ametaja kwa umbali kuhusiana na matumizi ya dawa za kulevya. Aidha mtazamaji, ametaja kuhusiana ya kwamba hii likizo fupi sasa wanafunzi watapatiwa idhini ya kwenda nyumbani kuanzia tarehe 24 hadi tarehe 28 mwezi huu wa Juni. Hali kadhalika pia amedokeza kwamba kunahitajika kuandaliwa kwa mkutano wa dharura kati ya wazazi na walimu ili kuhakikisha kwamba wanafunzi wako salama shuleni na pia hali ya utulivu imerejea katika mhula huu wa pili. Basi mtazamaji, mwanahabari wetu Susan Wewero ako pale anafuatilia taarifa hiyo kwa ukaribu kabisa na atakuwa akituletea kwa ukamilifu wake kwenye taarifa zetu zifuatazo za saa 1 na za saa 3 na pia kupitia mitandao yetu ya kijamii @NTV Kenya. Sasa turejelee hii ya kaunti ya Laikipia.